Hi, y'all. Brian S. Pratt here. So, I got a Grandpa Ralph story for you. Ralph was, of course, my mom's husband. They were married for 43 wonderful years. He was a father to me. He was a grandfather to my children, and he was just a wonderful person. Well, anyway, he always told tales of his childhood and growing up and things like that, and that's one of them. Okay, when he was a little boy, growing up in rural Oklahoma, and we're talking back in the what, 40s, 50s maybe, his family was really poor. I mean, super poor. And, well, they weren't necessarily poor. They were farmers, they were ranchers. You know, they had hogs, they did crops, and they hunted and canned, and so they never went hungry. They always had what they needed. So, were they poor? Not to them. To rich city folks, probably they were like the grapes of wrath. But anyway, so Ralph's growing up, and he goes to town maybe twice a year. Oh, I think Joseph's coming in. There's Joseph. Okay, so we'll just say hi to Joseph for a minute because we're doing a YouTube video. Oh, he's gone. That's one way to get privacy in here. Anyway, so Ralph, when he was a little boy, Joseph's my son. He's 28. Anyway, so he doesn't want to be on YouTube or take that. So when Ralph was a boy, he don't get to town once or twice a year, maybe 3 times, but for the most part he was on the farm, and he was just there. And so he says, Brian, when I got a piece of bubble gum, that might be my only bubble gum I would see for months. And so you would chew that piece of bubble gum until it disappeared, until it was gone. And I asked him, man, when I chew bubble gum, I'm chewing it for 10 seconds and I'm ready to spit it out because it has no flavor and just whatever. But if you never got it, and chewing it was a novelty, you couldn't have it whenever you wanted to, you chewed it forever. And so he says, well, yeah, I know, Brian, the flavor, but when I was a little boy, I would sneak into the kitchen when my mama wasn't there or she was asleep, and I'd take my bubble gum that I've been chewing for however long, and I'd put it in the sugar bowl. I'd roll it around. I would roll it around in the sugar, and ignore the alien. So, so that's what he did. He would take his sugar gum, his bubble gum, and roll it in the sugar, his mama's sugar bowl that always sat on the table. And he said, when she caught me, I get a whipping. But Brian, that sugar and that bubble gum was plain worth it. So that's just something that we don't really appreciate because we can pretty much have whatever we want when we want it. Can you imagine being a young boy, maybe only getting 2 pieces of bubble gum a year, maybe only 1? Can you imagine the joy you have when you receive that piece of bubble gum? When you first took that bite of bubble gum that you haven't had for months and didn't realize if you'd ever get it again? We will never know that joy, that level of joy and happiness, because we just don't do without. And at least not to that degree. So he may have done without, but he never knew he was poor. He always had food, and he got his bubble gum once in a while, and he rolled it around in his mama's sugar bowl on the table. Oh, yeah. I'm sure as kids we did something similar that we got a whooping for. Yeah, that's what you did on the farm. You managed. Anyway, I thought I'd share that story. Maybe someone will find it of interest. Maybe somebody will like it. I know my kids will, and that's mainly why I'm doing these Grandpa Ralph stories, is because it's just for my kids. And if someone else can enjoy it, so be it. Anyway, you all take care, and I'll come back with another one another day.